So, one thing at a mining operation is that you're doing more than one thing. You're not just out there with a shovel, digging dirt and loading it into a truck. But we know that in open pit and in underground, there is a series of activities that need to be completed for an operation. You have the drilling, you have the blasting, and then you have the mining. So we wanted to have a product that allowed us to schedule each one of those activities. And so Atlas really fills that gap. So Atlas, it's a toolkit for short-term planning that allows the user to establish a set of mining activities and rules, and then associate resources with those and produce a calendar-based schedule. Everything is new, and we've built it with functionality and usability in mind. We wanted to make Atlas something that you could sit down and it would just flow. The user would come into the product, they would see the initial configuration, and then each of the functions required to perform just flowed beautifully for the user. Some of the gaps that we were really looking to fill was a true activity and calendar-based scheduler. And I guess one example of that, of being able to offer these really rich reporting and visualization in Atlas, is the fact that we've allowed multiple Gantt views. So instead of having this single view to our data model that we keep refining all the time, we allow multiple views. They can look at just their drilling or just their mining or just their hauling process, and then also be able to bring it all together in one big master view. And it's just fantastic. It's an amazing way of being able to quickly jump between and focus the user on exactly what they need to see. And another thing that we've done in Atlas is provide animation. One of the most important things to any schedule, especially underground, is, does my sequencing work? Does the way that I've planned it and assigned the order of activities actually make sense? And the best way to review that is to have animation. And so inside Atlas, we've built into it, right at the core of it, the ability to animate your results amazingly. The tool that we've provided for the user is just sublime. You can set a time limit for the animation, or you can scroll the line through the periods and see exactly what's going on, not only with the extraction of the material from the pit or from the stope, but also the building of the waste dump as well. So you can see your pit being reduced, and you can see your waste dump being built. With the animation, one of the things that we've included is the ability to have transparency as a waste dump is being built. So if you have this huge lift that contains a lot of material, as it starts to be filled, you have this very faint transparency, and then when it's completely filled, it's solid. So the user just gets this great visual of his schedule. And also of the pit as it's been reduced. You see the cuts slowly disappear to zero rather than just on and off. One of the things that we've done in MineSight Atlas is have this concept of parent and children activities. So the mining engineer or the mine planner, when he's building an Atlas schedule, can with one piece of geometry automatically create a whole series of activities. So the way that works is that you may have some predefined polygons or solids, a blast master on a bench, and you can import all of those mining shapes directly into Atlas and automatically generate a whole series of activities from that collection of geometry. Things like this make life much easier for the mine planning engineer. Another thing we've included in Atlas is the ability to automatically calculate the undermining precedence for open pit. So you bring in your shapes or you digitize them, you run a single rule, and you can then automatically enforce that benches above have to be mined before benches below. And conversely, in underground as well, we've added some 3D spatial search rules so that you can define certain activities spatially that have to be completed before others. So you simply run this set of rules and it automatically builds it into the Gantt model for you. One of the things in Atlas that makes it different from everything else on the market is the ability for Atlas to route material through a network of destinations. So if you imagine your material being extracted from your underground stope or from your pit and then routing it to a series of destinations. So we allow the user this incredible flexibility of establishing their whole destination network, of giving the schedule opening stocks for stockpiles, and then the ability to route material to crushers, to bulk material to stockpiles and then reclaim from them, and even the ability to auto-reclaim from stockpiles to meet targets at the crusher. So we've really wanted to provide the whole picture, not just the generation of the geometry and the scheduling of the activities at True Calendar, but also for that material that is then sent on to destinations. We want to be able to track every piece of material right to the final destination of the operation. And Atlas just does that incredibly. So you can set up links between every destination and rules for reclaim and routing for each of those cuts. One thing that we've been really cognizant of is to have this really tight integration with MineSight 3D. And I think that's one thing that sets us apart from our competitors, is the way that we integrate the design, the reserves, and the animation and the visualization of the product into MineSight 3D. So there's no need for anyone to be exporting data and importing it into Atlas. They just work seamlessly inside MineSight. The other integration revolves around MineSight Haulage, which is our haulage calculation tool. And so we've recognized that, when you're producing a schedule, one of the most important things to calculate is the cycle time, the travel time of your truck to the destination. And so what we've done and spent a lot of time on is integrating MineSight Atlas with MineSight Haulage so that the user can have this seamless interoperation between the two products. So as they're scheduling, if they have a network of haulage profiles that has been designed, they can automatically calculate their equipment cycle times and report those inside Atlas. Another area that we've been absolutely determined to maintain is our ability to work with multiple block models. So there's many operations where you're wanting to bring together several deposits into a single schedule. So you may have block model A, B, and C. And so, all of our scheduling products historically have been able to handle multiple models, and Atlas is exactly the same. So as a user, if you have the requirement for scheduling for multiple deposits, you can bring all of that information together into a single schedule. We think Atlas is a great idea. It's going to give the user the most intuitive and easy to follow workflow than anything else they've used before for short-term planning.